only asked for the balance of her compensatory hours. I received this 4-page settlement agreement, Howard County versus me. I was like confused because I'm like, what is this? So this 4-page settlement agreement was offering to pay her first 2 years of college, in addition to multiple stipulations in exchange for my signature, releasing Howard County from everything that happened to my daughter from the beginning of time. Those were the words, the beginning of time. In addition to this, I would have to agree to never file another complaint. I could never speak about this issue to anyone. I could never go to court. All of this stuff. And I was like, what? I only asked for the balance of her compensatory hours. That was beyond disturbing because it was like saying, we really don't care about your child. We just want to wipe our hands clean of this whole situation. So in May 2023, my daughter was about to graduate. This is when Howard County Special Education Department initiated the functional behavior assessment. How was it going to be beneficial for her at this point? So fast forwarding to early July 2023, my daughter entered the summer bridge program at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. She was in the program for about 2 weeks before I got a call to come and pick her up because she had had a mental health crisis. When she got back home, I requested that Howard County provide her with counseling services because of the fact she did not have an IEP for 2 years. She wasn't even getting the services that she was supposed to be getting while she was at Howard High School when she was around a large amount of students. But now when she got into a very small group of students of 150, she ended up having a crisis. It would have been beneficial for her to get those services while she was at Howard High. The counseling services I requested were completely denied. So fast forwarding to August 15, 2023, when I had my meeting with Mr. Barnes. This meeting, like I said, I was so excited about it. And when I spoke with him about the concerns I had about my daughter, I addressed so many issues that were concerning to me. I told him about the functional behavior assessment that was not completed. I told him about the IEPs, and the response was, we're going to see what we can do to work on those services for your daughter. I went in there with great expectations and left miserably disappointed. I even informed him about how Howard County had sent me that 4-page settlement agreement. And that reminded me of an incident when I went to mediation for my daughter after in middle school when she was at Ellicott Mills. The principal removed her from all of her classes for 10 days. 10 days, especially even her reading class. She was having a really hard time struggling with reading. She was removed from all of her classes, and sat in the student services office for all 10 days. She had no teacher. She had no peers to interact with, and that was part of her IEP, peer interaction, social services, educational services, all of these things. And she was removed from her classes for 10 days. No one even told me. No one told me. Talk about deja vu. I had no idea my daughter was out of all of her classes. When I found out, my daughter finally told me, and I asked her, why didn't you tell me? She said, well, I didn't think it mattered anyway because, they always blame me, so what's the big deal? It was a big deal. And for any student to think that it's not, it's just wrong. They were literally converting everything, turning all of her complaints back around and pointing it towards her mental health. That's what they did. Oh, she's got mental health problems because she's been in the hospital. But no one would address why she's been in the hospital. For ignored bullying because the staff would not follow the bullying protocol. So when I found out about her being removed from the classes, I immediately went up to the school and had a face-to-face talk with this principal, Mr. Christopher Rattay, and informed him that I wanted my daughter back in her classes ASAP the next school day, which is where she was. He tried to turn it around and say, oh, I thought you were aware. There was never an IEP meeting for any changes like that. He knew I didn't know that. So she went back to her classes, but you cannot take a student out of a class for 10 days and expect them to pick up where they left off. That was the turning point in my daughter's life, right there. That particular moment. Not even the hospitalizations. It was that moment in her life. Because after being removed from her classes for 10 days, she was never able to catch up. Never able to catch up. And she was in 7th grade at that point. So because she couldn't catch up, that is part of the reason why she has the low confidence and self-esteem. So I told Mr. Barnes, this was a big turning point in her life. And when she went to that program at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, the Bridge program, she went into a mental health crisis because she was so overwhelmed. There were only 150 students. Howard High had like 1,800, which would have been the perfect place for her to get the services that she needed and get the practice, interacting socially, all of that. But no IEP for 2 years. So when she got to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore's program, not only did she freak out, but the words that she told me was that she felt stupid. She felt stupid. She did not feel like she could ever be on that level again. She didn't believe that she was honor roll material. So that really bothered me because I could tell from that point that her future was really kind of like up in the air. Like, we can go this way or we can go that way. So even now, she struggles a lot because she never really received the services that she needed. Those skills, those coping skills, that interaction. She has difficulty with peer interaction socially. And she never really got that because Pathways didn't have any. And this was her opportunity to get it. But she didn't know how to get it because no one was helping her to get it. So the reason I mentioned to Mr. Barnes about this whole settlement issue and how it reminded me of a situation that happened with my daughter at Elegant Mills was because during that time when I went to mediation for my daughter in 2022 to get 19 hours for her, I was offered the same settlement agreement. So the principal, Mr. Rattay, was not at this meeting. Instead, a representative from Howard County, Miss Catherine Lyon, was there. And she was basically saying, well, we'll give you your 19 hours if you sign this document stating that you will release Howard County from everything that happened to your daughter from basically the beginning of time.